I remember the day like it was yesterday. My wife Emma sat across from me at the kitchen table, her hands nervously twisting a napkin as she stared at the floor. The words she said were simple, but they hit me like a ton of bricks. "I just need some time," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I need space." Those 3 words haunted me. Space. We had been married for years, shared countless memories, and built a life together. How could she need space from me? We were a team. We had always been a team. She was my best friend, the love of my life, and now, out of nowhere, she was asking for space. I was lost, confused. Was this something I had done? Was she overwhelmed? Was she just going through something? I tried to push the thoughts out of my head. After all, she had always been honest with me. Maybe she was going through a rough patch. Maybe I was smothering her. But then again, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. I didn't know what to say. I didn't beg for answers. I didn't argue. Instead, I did something she never expected. I gave her exactly what she asked for. I stepped back. At first, I didn't even know what that would look like. But I started to pull away. I stopped texting her throughout the day. I stopped asking about her plans, her friends, where she was going. I didn't call her when she was late. I didn't question her. I gave her the space she needed. Even though it hurt, it felt like I was losing her piece by piece. But I told myself it was what she wanted. It was the right thing to do. For the first few days, things were calm. She seemed relieved, like a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. She went out more. She started dressing differently, in clothes I hadn't seen her wear in a while. She was on her phone more, always smiling at texts, laughing at things I couldn't see. It was almost like she had become a stranger. But I told myself this was fine. She needed her freedom, right? But then something strange started to happen. She began texting me nonstop. The same woman who had asked for space was now checking up on me, like I was the one who had gone missing. She would ask where I was, who I was with, why I was being so distant. The more I gave her the space she asked for, the more she seemed to panic. I tried not to let it show. I stayed calm, distant, just like she had wanted. I didn't react. I didn't rush to reply to her texts. I didn't chase her. The more I kept my distance, the more she tried to pull me back in. She wanted to know everything about my day. She wanted to know who I was with, where I had been. She wanted to talk, laugh, be affectionate, just like before. But now, I was the one who felt like something was off. Then it hit me. One night, I was sitting on the couch reading a book, not waiting up for her, not asking questions. She came home late as usual. She hesitated at the door, glancing at me like she didn't know what to say. Finally, she asked, "You didn't call me today." Her tone was confused, almost hurt. I looked up at her, my eyes calm but firm. "You needed space, remember?" For the first time in a long time, she looked worried. She hadn't expected me to be so indifferent. She hadn't expected me to give her exactly what she had asked for. It was as if the roles had reversed. Now, she was the one chasing me, and I was the one who had pulled away. She tried to explain herself, but I wasn't listening. The more she begged for attention, the more distant I became. I had given her exactly what she wanted. But in that moment, I realized that it wasn't space she had needed. It wasn't time to think or clear her mind. What she really wanted was control. She wanted the freedom to explore whatever it was that had caught her attention. But she wanted to be able to come back to me when it all fell apart. But I wasn't going to be there for that. A few weeks went by, and Emma started to act even more strangely. She started coming home earlier, asking more questions, showing interest in my life like she had before. But now, I wasn't playing that game anymore. I stayed distant. I didn't need her validation. I didn't need to know what she was doing anymore. I was living my life, not waiting for her to decide what she wanted. One night, while I was getting ready to go out, she stood in the doorway watching me with an unreadable expression. She asked, "Where you going?" I glanced at her, unfazed. "Out," I replied. She narrowed her eyes. "With who? Why do you care? You needed space, right?" She didn't respond immediately. She just stood there, silent, before she whispered, "I didn't think you would actually pull away this much." And that was the moment I realized she didn't want space. She wanted options. She wanted to be able to do whatever she wanted. But she wanted to know I would always be there, waiting for her when she came back. But now, she had pushed me away, and I wasn't coming back. Things went from bad to worse. One evening, while she was in the shower, her phone lit up on the dresser. I wasn't snooping, but when I glanced at the screen, a message popped up. I miss you. When can I see you again? My heart sank, but I didn't let it show. I didn't react. I didn't confront her. Instead, I did the one thing that terrified her more than anything. I stayed calm. Over the next few days, she tried harder than ever to pull me back. She started acting sweet again. She suggested a weekend trip, something she hadn't done in months. But I wasn't fooled. I played along, watching as she desperately tried to rebuild something she had already destroyed. I could see through her facade. She was trying to fix something that was already broken. But she didn't understand the one thing that had changed. I wasn't the man who would wait for her anymore. Finally, one night, she cracked. She sat down beside me on the couch, her voice shaking as she whispered, "I don't want space anymore." I looked at her. "Oh, what changed?" Her eyes watered. She was breaking down. "I made a mistake," she admitted. "I didn't know what I wanted. But now I do. I want you." Her words were desperate, pleading, but they no longer had power over me. I had already moved on. I had already let go. I stood up slowly, my voice steady as I said, "I don't want you anymore." Her face fell. She stammered, "You don't mean that? We can fix this." I shook my head. "No, we can't." She reached for me, her eyes full of panic. "I love you. Please, just give me another chance. I see everything clearly now." I stood tall, my resolve firm. "I didn't do this. You did." And with that, I walked out the door. I could hear her cry behind me, her voice cracking as she begged me to stay. But there was nothing left to say. She had made her choice, and now she had to live with it. As I stepped outside, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. I was free. For the first time in a long time, I was free. I had let go, and I wasn't going to let her pull me back into her web of confusion. She continued to text me, call me, but I never responded. I had realized something she never understood. She didn't want space. She wanted options. She wanted my love, but she wanted the freedom to explore other things without the consequences. And when that failed, she thought I would be there, waiting for her. But I wasn't. I had already moved on, and there was no going back. The end.